The Annual World Convention is hosted by the ACA World Service Organization, and it was made possible by the dedication and energy of ACA members from around the world giving service. The theme was connections. The following recording is one of the 18 presentations made by and for members of Adult Children of Alcoholics Fellowship at the 8th Annual ACA World Convention held virtually on November 17 and 18, 2023. Please visit the adultchildren.org website for more information about ACA, for worldwide ACA meeting listings, to make a 7th tradition contribution, or to volunteer for service. We hope you enjoy the following presentation from the 8th Annual World Convention.
Prayer in whatever language or way calls your heart. Everybody can unmute. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people
but I cannot change.
the courage to choose the one I
Change the one I can.
and the wisdom to
The
know
wisdom to know the difference.
that
And the
one
wisdom
is
to
me.
know the one is me.
Thank you, everyone. I would request everyone to please mute themselves.
We have a choice of reading the laundry list or the laundry list of the problem. If it's okay, I'd like to read the problem because we read the laundry list in just the last meeting. Okay. Many of us found that we had several characteristics in common as a result of being brought up in an alcoholic or dysfunctional household. We had come to feel isolated and uneasy with other people, especially authority figures. To protect ourselves, we became people pleasers, even though we lost our own identities in the process. All the same, we would mistake any personal criticism as a threat. We either became alcoholics or practiced other addictive behavior ourselves, or married them, or both. Failing that, we found other compulsive personalities, such as a workaholic, to fulfill our sick need for abandonment. We lived life from the standpoint of victims. Having an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, we preferred to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. We got guilt feelings when we stood up for ourselves rather than giving it to others. Thus, we became reactors rather than actors, letting others take the initiative. We were dependent personalities, terrified of abandonment, willing to do almost anything to hold on to a relationship in order not to be abandoned emotionally. Yet, we keep choosing insecure relationships because they matched our childhood relationship with alcoholic or dysfunctional parents. These symptoms of the family disease of alcoholism or other dysfunction made us co-victims, those who take on the characteristics of the disease without necessarily ever taking a drink. We learned to keep our feelings down as children and kept them buried as adults. As a result of this conditioning, we confused love with pity, tending to love those we could rescue. Even more self-defeating, we became addicted to excitement in all of our affairs, preferring constant upset to workable relationships. This is a description, not an indictment. Brian, what say you? Should we read any further readings, or should we go on to the presentation?
I think we're good. We're ready to go, Shangela.
Okay, so then let me give a brief introduction of Brian. Yes, so Brian is a self-confessed ACA, and he has over 25 years of administrative experience at one of the top 5 universities. His research focuses on mobile learning and innovative classroom technology. He has worked in international affairs, stepping down as an assistant dean in 2018. Brian has 3 years of ACA recovery and has provided service at WSO, East Global ACA, and local backup meetings. For this presentation, young adults from China, India, the Philippines, and Thailand will share their experience, strength, and hope. Thank you, Brian. Take it away, all yours.
Oh man, welcome! You guys are in Asia. Welcome to Asia, man. This is my gang, man. Sun's here, Shangri-La's here. This is so cool. My name's Ajahn Brian. Ajahn in Thai means like teacher or professor, and even my wife is called the all of that life. For somebody that if you're talking about somebody else, they call him kun. Kun in Thai means either female or male, but it's just a very polite way to say something to somebody else. Although we have other participants from other countries. I'm Thai, man. I'm Thai. Let me introduce the participants that are going to be talking today just real briefly in the order that they'll go in. First of all, Jason from Thailand will go first. Win, also from Thailand, will go second. Angelica's from the Philippines, man. Norm, are you there? I got somebody from the Philippines.
I'm here, Brian.
Is from Beijing. And then Pratik, he's Indian, man. He's from India. It's a little bit of a tense situation for Pratik because he's on the train. So hopefully he'll stay with the connection, man. We'll see. It'll make for a good story anyway. If you guys don't mind, let me go back to some of the rules. I think we'll have time to share, and you guys can ask questions as well. But I want to keep these young adults safe. So I want to declare this crosstalk in effect. Let me go read what our policy about it is. Crosstalk means interrupting, referring to, or commenting on what another person has said during the meeting. We do not crosstalk. We come from a family background where feelings and perceptions were judged as wrong or defective. We accept without comment what others say because it's true for them. We work toward taking more responsibility in our lives rather than giving advice to others. And I just want to remind you, crosstalk goes both ways. It could be something bad, but it also can be something that's good. To get rid of me, if you say something bad to me, I will hang with it. But if you give me like 2 or 3 compliments, I'm out of there, man. I'm out of there. That's the worst thing you could do for me. So once again, we'll open it up a little bit later after all of these guys have had a chance to share. Just to get it ready, we're going to go to the Big Red Book and just kind of go through the chapter that talks about young adults and let us read like a paragraph and kind of get into a rhythm like we're back into our meeting so that these guys can relax a little bit. And Jason, are you ready?
Ready as I'll be.
Let me go ahead and read this paragraph real quick, and then we'll open it up. And Jason, you have 10 minutes to share after that. You can stop before that, whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So let me go ahead and read the paragraph. From one teen to another, I'm on page 478 in the Big Red Book. Adults don't understand, or they forget. Maybe it's too painful to remember. Issues from their childhood are buried in a hidden place they could not easily find. The adult says they don't mean to hurt us. They don't know exactly why they act the way they do, but they do it anyway. They try to control us and they punish us. They overreact to little things. They miss the bigger issues. They constantly argue with one another without realizing we are listening. They miss our feelings, our needs, our questions. They tell us that we are not good enough, then complain that we have low self-esteem. Jason, it's all yours.
Got it. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason. I'm from Thailand. I'm in Bangkok, and I'm 17 years old. I'll tell you about all my experiences that I've had growing up so far, in Thailand, and much more of the good nor bad experiences I've had. So I think most of it would not be at home, but surprisingly, it would be all at school. So I think I was around probably like 5 or 6 after I finished kindergarten somewhere else. And then my parents sent me to be in a school with my brother as well. My brother's 5 years older than me. So, I had someone to take care of me. And my first experience there was it was interesting, a lot of new people and all that. But it started getting even a bit more heavy when I got into like grade 1 to grade 6. To now where I am now is in high school. And what would be one of the things that kind of gave me a lot of bad memories about my school is that the teachers were quite abusive. They were Um, I think I know. In Asia, it's there would be physical punishments. There would be sort of like, sort of like a verbal abuse thing type of going on, and they would kind of expect for students to kind of like use that as motivation. But for me, for some students that are camera, for some students that are sort of, scared or shy, whatnot, didn't really work. Kind of pushed them onto the ground, including me as well. So probably around I think when I was 3 or 4, it started just a bit too much and all that. I had a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. I mean, that's typical for someone at a young age, but until I start to get at around grade 5, when I was 11, 12, which things started to get more heavy. And I think around then, that's where I started to become more a bit more angrier, actually. Um, so I think most cases, my problem would be that I was never accepted. I never felt really accepted into my school because the thing is I'm half Thai, half American, and it was sort of difficult because the pros would be that I could speak English and all that. I could go wherever I want, but the con would be that I'm American. I'm like sort of an outsider. So sometimes I would kind of, be thrown around a bunch of words thrown at me like, oh, why don't you, go back to where you came from and all that. And I took those left and right. And kept I kept wondering, like, why would they say all this stuff? I was born here, I speak fluent Thai, even though alphabet, I can't get it too right because it's too long. And I always wondered that. And I didn't have like, way too many friends to help me on that because usually in Thai schools when you're younger and the teachers or people treat you in a sort of way in a Thai school, you're supposed to kind of like be sort of independent on your own, not by getting like help from anyone until like I think later on in high school where you start learning like about other people and all that. So by the time I was 11 or 12, I started to have a lot of anger towards my teachers. I think my my parents as well, and I think my most famous one would be one time where my teacher just absolutely neglect and belittle me because I couldn't get something right in class and all that. Like, oh, why don't you why why don't you know math and English so well? Because I'm not good at math anyway. And that got me so stressed, so mad to the point where I went outside of my classroom. I just deliberately kept punching the wall. And it was the worst case I ever had because like after someone finally had stopped me, it kind of like made me like snap, like, what am I doing? And it was scary. And I still have a scar from that actually. And it was back in 2017, I think. And then further on, it just like I kept just taking all of the the abuse from the teachers and some students, all of that. And I took it until 2020. And I think everyone remembers that 2020 we had like such a rough year for COVID and all that, right? But in 2020, the best thing that ever happened was there was a new law that was created in Thailand where physical abuse would not be tolerated in Thai schools, which I was just so happy about. I was happy, but I was also pissed because why did it take this long just to make that, And of course, I had online classes, which I missed some of my classes because at that time we didn't know how to like get into like a certain routine of just going into online classes and all that. And I think that gave me a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do with myself. Because I realized that, the one thing that I was afraid of going to school is gone. It's removed. So it's like, what am I going to school for? I'm thinking about a lot of things, there's college, there's a bunch of other stuff until I went back to school. I think that would be the end at around, that part in my childhood when I was younger until being a teenager. That part closed. The other part would be, I think, my major story would be about my relationship with someone that I had dated before. I'm not gonna give out their name, but I'm mentioning this now because I dated this person during my high school life. I was dating her when I was 15 till 16, I think, so a year and a half. And she's a good person in some aspects of ways. But the reason I'm bringing this up because it sort of ruined and destroyed me, because me and her we were quite toxic with each other. There was a lot of yelling, there was a lot of miscommunication, there was a lot of that, a lot of fighting. And there was a lot of begging to come back, and then came back, and then leaving, and then yada yada yada. You guys know the whole story about, like, complicated relationships like that. And I think at around October, I made like maybe October, I think I made like a really deliberate choice to just leave. Maybe not, I think no, I think it was November. I made like a choice to leave because we were having a really stupid argument about something, and then she told me, don't ever come back and all that. You just leave, just go. And I left because I mean, what's better, And I sort of just try to work on myself at school, try to get my grades up, try to fix what I thought was broken, because during the time when I was dating her, worst time she would break up with me was before my exam. So I would be completely broken before exams, which was just like, damn, that's a really bad move that she made on me. And yeah, now it's like right, like for this year right now, my grades are doing steadily well without, being in any relationship right now. So that is good. And I think for the most part of November, December, probably January as well, I was sort of broken in some sort of way, trying to fix myself up, a bit more and more, until I eventually got better next year and all that. And it was good. It was good. I was just, man, I never felt so alive. Just, because I always felt like I had to be, someone else, for that other person. I didn't have someone to accept me for who I was until I really learned about, just trying to, accept myself for who I am, as in a good way, and, learn to, like, just, be a friend of my own self. And I like, if anyone knows me personally, I have I really like to make people laugh. I want to make jokes and all that, and just give people a good time, because that gives me a good time as well, to make people laugh and all that. Like, hell, I'm practically the jokester in my family. I mean, I got it from my dad. So, but I think for this year, there's still a lot of things to learn, still a lot of things to improve from what I've learned from the past years, from just almost finishing being a teenager, from being a child and all that. And people respect me much more since I'm older, since I'm all that. And there's still some problems that I face towards in my school, like some people, sometimes they like to disrespect me, call me names and all that, but I don't care. I take it with a grain of salt. I really don't care about what other people say, because call me that. You can call me, you can call me a foreigner, whatever you want. Go ahead, go at it, because I don't care. And but I did, I formed a lot of new relationships this year with a lot of great people that I recently come to just talk to again, like old friends and all of that. And I think this year was a really great year for me to learn, even though it's like I got like 2 months left and all that. But it's a really great year and all that. And there's still a lot of things for me to learn and all that. I still got university ahead of me, so there's gonna be that as well. But yeah, I'm happy that I'm here sharing my experience, and I hope everyone, listening can also, learn from what I've, told you all, and I, I hope everyone has a good day and all that. So yeah, that's all.
Oh man, perfect timing, perfect timing. Thank you, Jason. And may I ask for Win? Win, come on up, man.
Hello, everybody. My name is Win. I'm from Thailand. I am 22 years old. I am a childhood alcoholic, and this is my story. So back when I was a child, I used to get good grades. When I was in middle school. My school performance was quite good. I always got grade A. But when I moved to high school, when I got to Mathayom Siksa, which is basically the first stage of high school. In Thailand, they have two stages of high school. For the first one, as I said earlier, is Mathayom Ton. So the first half of the Mathayom, which continue from class 1 to 3. And then the second half is Mathayom Plai from 4 to 6, which divided into two sub-major, which is like the math science and the math language, which mainly English. Since I was a child, I always fascinated in English subjects. I always find it interesting to look at the author content from author creator in English, because in Thai we don't really have the subject that I really interested in. Well, but then I'll continue on that later. After I get into high school, things starting to go down because being with Asian parents, they always have this conservative mindset about, okay, when you grow up and when you get to work, you must work to be an engineer or be a doctor so you can make your family proud. It's like it's been there for generations. I think this doesn't really apply to Thailand, but in overall Asia in general, because your parents kind of expect something for you because they raised you and they want you to be better than them. I do understand that they are care for me, but right now I don't really know my choice because I don't know, 13 or 14 years old, and I don't really know what direction I'm heading into. After I get into Mathayom Ton, I got into the first gifted class, so the king classroom in the school. It is hard for me to adapt into it because all the students there, they are quite competitive. And I know myself very well. I'm not good with studying and I don't really handle it very well. So even though I start to doing homework and starting to focus on studying, my family's kind of status is not very good. I come from a poor background. So I live in the traditional poor people way. Like, I'm sorry for saying that that was a bad generalization, but I'll say that I come from that. And other of my friends, believe it or not, try to make fun of it for me being um, act and try to preserve some money for so I can go on continue with another days and say start bullying me. That was the turning point because when I send the work, I put it in the pile where the leader of the classroom will bring it to the teacher of that subject. But my homework, they always get stolen or tear apart every time I try to send it. It will start to affect perfecting my school performance, which my parents really not really keen on, because being the Asian child in the Asian families, they expect you to do good grades. I think you heard of a lot of joke where, oh, you get B, well, go out of the house, you're not good enough. That's really a stereotype, but it's really applied here back then where I was at. But then when I get into the second half of the high school, the Mathayom Plai, I have to choose between English major and science majors, which I really want to go for English major, but due to my parents being so authoritarians, they're forcing me into the science subject, which I know I'm not good at all, and I have to force myself to study into it. And then you can see, if even for my first year, my grade was start falling apart. My school, my homework, and everything's around me. So they try to cut tie with me because they think that I'm not good enough. But that one sentence when my dad spoke at me, when she see my grade and everything, he said that I'm the disappointment of this family. I took it personally. So after term two of the first year in the second half of the high school, I started skipping class in the afternoon just so I could go do my part-time work so I could feed myself because they started to cut ties with me. They don't give me money anymore. I don't have enough money to buy lunch. I don't have enough money to buy dinner. I don't have money to even take the bus home. So I have to go start to work. And then I find my first job at Wall Street English. It's pretty much a prestige English tutor in Thai. So I start working there as a janitor and I start improving and improving. And one teacher I caught one teacher attention. So he offered me a chance to become a teacher assistant, but he see that I can speak English. So that's how I kind of developed the ways of learning English by myself and start taking interest. And they start offering me some free course for me to take. So I took it. After a while, I got some idea from workers there that, okay, I could take an IELTS test, go to some college, but I don't have to take a traditional TCAT, which is like a traditional test to get into of every university in Thailand. But at that time, my families, all of them did not really like me. So that I think it was on the last term where I had to go to the university where they cut the tie with me completely and I have nowhere to go. They even locked me out of the house, so I have to go live at my friend's house. I was struggling a lot back then because I don't really have money. I do collect enough money, like seven grands to go take an IELTS test, which is not, it's a lot for like a high school student for work to get that amount of money in order to go to take just one test so they could get into universities. My parents, they always discourage me. They always send messages, some letters to discourage me from going to that English way. So they could so they could force me to okay, you go study being an engineer or something, or be a mechanic, at least you can feed yourself. Yes, I proved them wrong and then end up here in Mahidol and I met Brian in his classroom, which it's one of the best thing I could ever ask for in my life. After I got into universities, they couldn't believe it, and they started change their mind and start approaching me, which in a way I know they're trying to mend the relationship that was broken back then, but the further they try to connect with me, the further I try to push them away. I was isolated. I was thinking back to myself, why? When I need you the most, where are you? Why did you cast me away? I need you guiding the most with but all you do is punishing me for being myself, for doing what I love. But then we started to get better during the COVID because we are pretty much forced to be with each other in the same house because of COVID and all things and the quarantines. So we spend time with each other much more often and we try to mend the relationship. It's going better, but until this August where I have my first ever big break from the universities, I can't have a chance to go into the vacation with my family, which I know they're trying to so hard to mend that relationship, but in the end I ended up abandoning them mid-trip and just go back to home and go to my dorm where I live. Right now, it's kind of taught me a lot to stay on my own. Back then, I was start drinking a lot just to go to sleep each day and not think about that. My parents just really left me. Right now, even I'm here where I am and I'm quite happy. There's still some problem. I still stop struggling for it. Basically, it's what's the word for it? Trust issue that I try to build with others. It's hard for me to connect with a person who is not really familiar with the concept of what I've been through, or so people who doesn't really judge a book by its cover. Thank you. That's all my story. Thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you much, Win. And Angelica, you want to go ahead or you want me to read a little bit to get you going? You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's do it, Angelica. Let's do it.
Hello everyone. I extend my sincere gratitude to the adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families World Service Organization for granting me the privilege to be present and share my experiences and insights at the ACA's Annual World Convention. I am truly thankful to be here and to have this wonderful opportunity. I would like to express my appreciation to the organizers and to Brian for extending the invitation to me for this exceptional event. This marks my first attendance at an international and worldwide gathering, and I consider it a profound opportunity for personal growth and connecting with fellow ACA members. So to introduce myself, my name is Angelica, and I am a 19-year-old first-year college student residing in the Philippines, making me Southeast Asian. And I recently joined ACA due to family conflicts, and that left me emotionally distressed. So addressing our topic, surviving school and critical parents, to begin with, are dealing with academic challenges and parental influences. It's crucial to acknowledge the role of mental health, the cause of academic pressures and critical parental expectations can significantly impact the mental well-being of young individuals. And we know that education not only shapes our intellectual capacities, but also influences our emotional resilience. And the stress associated with academic demands and critical parental can contribute to heightened anxiety levels and in some cases affect the well-being of a person. Therefore, as we discuss strategies for navigating these challenges, it's imperative to underscore the importance of prioritizing mental well-being and seeking support is a crucial aspect of fostering a healthy balance between academic success and emotional resilience. So I'd like to share my experiences with you, particularly as a first-year college student enrolled in a performing arts course or theater track. The school system in my country is demanding, requiring early wake-ups at 5 a.m. and attending classes from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. This hectic schedule leaves little time for personal activities. Being a college student, especially at a state university with hectic schedules and workloads, it is indeed challenging. I find myself anxious about our upcoming presentations, given the constant stream of projects, quizzes, tests, and activities assigned by professors. As a theater student, I must also dedicate significant time to attend rehearsals for our performances. And this becomes particularly exhausting when coupled with the demands of academic coursework. Upon returning home, I feel the physical and mental fatigue from long hours at school, compounded by a lack of sufficient sleep. The little time left for rest is often consumed by completing projects with impending deadlines. It feels like a never-ending cycle. Despite the demands, I've learned to manage my time wisely. The school does not adjust its expectations for individual students. So I strike a balance between academic and personal responsibilities. Unfortunately, many educational institutions do not prioritize student well-being, leaving students to navigate the challenges on their own. I find myself constantly organizing tasks, attempting to manage the overwhelming demands on my time. There's no respite, not even on Sundays, when I have to worry about submitting a physical educational video. And in the midst of this busyness, there is hardly any time for self-reflection or personal contemplation. Every moment is like consumed by tasks and responsibilities, and however, I constantly remind myself that this is temporary, and once this phase is over, I can focus on what I truly want or need to do. And managing a small amount of sleep is a constant challenge, especially when early mornings and transportation to school are non-negotiable. Balancing academic and personal life is incredibly difficult, and perfection is unattainable. In essence, surviving school becomes the goal, and self-care becomes a crucial aspect of maintaining emotional resilience. I find moments for connected with loved ones and good relationships became my support and self-care. And on the other hand, I have experienced having critical and overly judgmental parents. However, I recognize that my parents face significant challenges in life, yet I believe it is not appropriate to consistently make your children feel guilty. Growing up in an Asian household known for being strict, disciplinarian, and perfectionist, I don't want to speak negatively about my parents, but their constant criticism did hurt me. My relationship with my mother lacks closeness, and there is always tension between us. Even as a child, I felt hurt by her actions, I think that if she had been less critical, I might have felt unconditional love and that there was nothing wrong with my childhood. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and I developed feelings of fear, pain, emotional distance, and at times a lack of trust in her. As a child, I didn't feel emotionally supported. Instead, I felt distant. There came a point where I almost forgot what our relationship used to be like. But the wounded child within me still remembers feeling abused by my mother. I have painful memories and harbored ill feelings. The root of my anxiety lies in not feeling safe or loved by the person who initially cared for me. My anxious attachment style stems from the instability of my relationship with my mother. Relatives often question why I don't share my activities with my mother. It's not because I view her as controlling or a threat to my freedom, but because I developed a fear that she would always have a negative opinion of me. Throughout most of my life, I couldn't open up to my mom as I felt unheard and criticized, making it difficult to feel safe and comfortable around her. My parents are extremely strict with me because they don't want me to make the same mistakes they did. I understand that, and they may have many beliefs they want me to adapt for a better life. However, what I find hard to comprehend is why their words and punishments are so hurtful when I go through normal experiences as a teenager. It was challenging for me when I had a first boyfriend, as my mom would punish me, use harsh words, and push me away. The situation is different for my sister, who is now my age and has a boyfriend. It seems like a natural progression for her. I don't wish for my sister to go through what I experienced, and I'm not resentful that my parents treat her differently. Yet it always feels like there's something wrong with me. My mother consistently tells me, shouting at me, that I am always troubled. And I often question it why she does this. Is this because I can't fold my clothes perfectly? Even in simple things, I always seem to fall short. I was always lacking as a child. Growing up with a negative image from my mother, I never felt love or believed that I was loved. If I were to ask my mother what she thinks of me, she would say that I am not a good child and would have negative things to say. I'm not claiming to be perfect, but I haven't made any major mistakes to constantly receive hurtful words, making it seem like I'm a troublemaker in the family. In fact, I am doing well in my studies. I've never consumed alcohol or used drugs, barely gone out, and I couldn't even if I wanted to. And if it feels like there's always a tension between us. And this is something I feel because every time she gets angry, she say hurtful things. And then that would explain everything I felt as a child and now as a young adult. Even as a child, I was known to be shy and quiet, and almost everyone I encountered from school until now recognizes this about me. I carried this trait with me, and it contributed to my low self-esteem. I always felt unlikable and wondered what people could possibly find appealing about me. I've struggled with intense anxiety, and I know it's due to the unhealthy attachments I form in relationship, all stemming from the brokenness inside me. At this point in my life, I am eager to forgive my mother. While her criticism has deeply hurt me, I find myself empathizing with her and trying to address anything that may be causing her distress, even if it's a minor inconvenience. Nevertheless, I do wish my mom had treated me with love and compassion. Now, as a young adult, I want to forgive her and heal the part of me that that never heard her say she's proud of me or that she's always there for me. My life hasn't been easy, especially now, and sometimes all you need is a hug to make everything feel alright. They may be right that she expected me to be a better child because I am her firstborn, and she didn't want me to fall short. However, it was fair for a child who was just learning about life. In concluding my reflection and experiences, I would like to offer some advice based on the challenges I face and the lessons I've learned. For those dealing with critical or overly judgmental parents, it's essence to be kind to yourself and seek support when needed, and remember that growth and healing are ongoing processes. As you continue your journey, may you find strength, resilience, and moments of genuine joy. And also, forgiving a parent who might contributed to emotional wounds can be a difficult but transformative journey. It doesn't negate the pain, but it allows you to release the burden and focus on your own healing. Remember that forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to share my journey and lessons. I hope that my experiences can be helpful to you in some way or inspire you to be more compassionate with yourself and others. I'm here because I am still healing and growing, and I will continue to make progress in my life. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with all of you. I love being here, and I hope to hear from each one of you.
Oh, thank you, Angelica. Lily, man. Where's Lily?
Hi. Okay, I'll share.
Go for it, man.
So good. Okay, it's so good to see you all. I'm Lily, an adult child, and I'm 23. 23. Yeah. I will share about my story and what I gained from an ACA. About my family and school. I think about my family, in my big family, I was always trying to fake, like the ideal Lily my families want me to be, and I still do it, I think. And in my small family, the triangular relationship runs very fast before I joined the top set program, like the rescue victim persecutor triangle. And in my school part, I was quite I think I'm a good student. I have very good scores. So it's like a high achiever at school. But I'm quite isolated, and feel like I feel like I felt like I was always lack of time, so didn't want to make friends with other people, and actually it was like I didn't know how to make friends with other people, and I was easy. I had very strong perfectionism, so although I ask a lot of questions, but I didn't like when I received criticism, or like I like it was very, yeah, it was hard for me to accept other people's advice. I was completely rely on my own, and yeah, I think that's basically me before I joined the 12-step program. And my first 12-step program is Eleanor when I was 18, and it's good because I start to know like how to set boundaries and not being a firefighter at home, and but also it's hard for me to express all my feelings. Because in Al-Anon, they are not only adult children, but also wives of alcoholics. So it's hard. And I suppress part of my feelings, especially my resentment and anger towards my families. And gradually growing the 12-step program, the time came to 2021. I was reading a book with another fellow traveler, and the book is talking about maybe we can show or feel our emotions. Then I tried, and I felt strong anger, and that anger, I wasn't able to stop my anger, and I didn't know the cause of my anger. I was just basically angry for maybe 12 hours during I was awakened. And that anger lasted for maybe a week. I even called my I even added one therapy session to see like what happened with me. And it was that anger led me to ACA. Because I saw like yeah, and when I then I became very active. I became active in ACA, and first time I joined, it was not the first time I joined ACA, but it was the first time that I start to be active, and I was there maybe joined so many meetings, and I even downloaded VPN to use WhatsApp, because before that I feel like I was still very isolated, and it was hard for me to share my emotions and stories, and but in ACA I can break that, like, not don't talk, don't trust, don't feel rules, and I can sense like there are also some other members who are sharing their anger and resentment. And it was also at that summer I started to do my yellow book, and lots of memories come back, and so many emotions also came back, and I had a lot more compassion for myself. I started to see like, especially when I was doing step 4, I started to see like like it's true that I was quite hurt when I was a child and teenager at home, and and it's quite miraculous that I survived all of them. And I also remember in 2021, it was my first ACA. It was my first time joining ACA annual convention, and I was quite touched by the talent and non-talent show. Yeah, I was, because I always feel like I was inferior to other people who are not ACA members, and I think it's also due to like part of, like, I guess what normal is, something like that. But yeah, when I hear like that talent and non-talent show, I just suddenly feel like, oh, that may be not the truth. Like I can see like the beauty in ACA people, and yeah. But I still met some other difficulties. Although I joined ACA, in my I graduate at my and got my bachelor school and got my bachelor degree at 2021. And then I went to my master program. But it was a completely university and place that I wasn't familiar with, and so many stress came together. So I got depression, and I left all of my 12-step programs for a while, and but in 2023 January, I came back. The part of the reason why I came back is due to like I didn't want to stay with my families. It was hard to deal with them, and yeah, I just feel like I needed to find a better place for me to start my life, and so I give my 12-step program another try, and it worked. And I guess it was due to like I got nothing to lose, and in the past it was I was still wasn't able to find my higher power, and but yeah, when I got depression and I got nothing to lose, I started to try to see where my higher power is, and I joined meeting. I found one lovely meeting, and one lovely Elena meeting and one lovely ACA meeting. So I joined them, and I got better by the help of these meetings, and also a medication. So I went back to school, and I felt a lot more I still feel anxious and sometimes, but like I feel life is better, way more better than I could imagine in the past. I feel like I have more. Now I'm doing laundry list workbook and loving parent guidebook, and I feel like I have more compassion for myself and compassion for others, and also like I have a good intimate relationship with my girlfriend. I could never imagine that like I was able to have that kind of close relationship. Like I've never got a role model in my family. I didn't want any of their intimate relationships. But yeah, I think I'm also applying the 12-step programs in my intimate relationship, so I can like, yeah, the relationship between us are really cool, and also I have better relationship with my parents. It starts with I'm no longer a rescuer, so that I don't hold resentment towards my father. I think yeah, like like, for example, like today I can sense my father sent me many messages. It was still, I guess probably he was drunk, but like what I can offer is a space. But I don't reply to her. I don't reply to him. So and it's yeah. I feel like since I'm no longer a rescuer, then I don't have resentment. And also, like, I have more clarity and tools. For example, like I'm doing laundry list workbook with a fellow traveler now, and I can see like, sometimes I'm afraid of, like, in when and where I'm afraid of people, and like how like my body reacts and what I can help. And yeah, that's time.
Thank you, Lily. Yeah, I let it run just a little bit late because I was hoping Pratik can come back. He was trying to hang with us as best as he could, but I think the train got him, man. I could see his single kind of going in and out. I'm really, oh, he's here. He's here. Pratik, please go ahead. You came back, man. Awesome. Pratik,
Can I go ahead and share? Okay, thank you. So, hi everybody, myself Pratik, and now I am a ACA DO from India. And like it was a rough time today. I am traveling and network is going down and up. So I was afraid. So yeah, I survived a lot in my school days. My parents as well as my teachers and to the society. Actually, in my early childhood, I used to like wonder this world, like the sunset going down, everybody going back to home, how how wonderful it is. And then when I was going back at my home and got punished in back of my like asking love to my parents, I got punishment, return of love. So it was very terrible from age 7. I was constantly asking my father, can you like I really love you, but I never got that attachment and attention as well as the love. And then he used to pressurize my teachers to give him extra attention. And a teacher, out of frustration that from my father, the teacher used to beat me, and I was totally ashamed and guilt, and I didn't want to go to school from age 7, grade 1. I was hiding somewhere, going out from home, but not going to school. My mom used to force me, go. And my father was just perfectionism. He was just forcing everybody to repair this boy. He's not like everything is perfect. That was my dad. And I was totally fearful. He was like in when I was going to school, it was battleground, and coming back to school again, it was battleground because teachers used to beat me, and coming back to my home, my father used to take my revision of my what I have learned in school. Just told me, and he was using me, slap me frequently in front of my sisters, and that slapping was saved in my body. Still, I remember how I didn't like that, and I hear my sister saying to my dad, I'm your I'm your good daughter. Please don't beat me. Please don't slap me. I will be good. And this make me very uncomfortable emotionally. So I never got emotionally anything from childhood. So I don't think my educational and academics were not very good because I was surviving in my head emotionally. So growing up in a school and like every time my father used to have a image on my school like I am his father, so you needed to give him extra attention. You have to just make him whatever. So teacher used to give me extra attention, and in sake of that, in frustration, they used to just hate me or shamed me in front of everybody. And I didn't like that. I was not good at school because of those those back those things from my dad. I was not having a school anymore because of I was totally in my head. for my dad. How like painful, and out of this I wanted to like I used to stay away from home, and I tried to just use a little bit drugs in my very childhood. I wanted to do that, any form of. I tried to because I had nothing, man. I was lonely, alone. My mom was not with me. My sisters was forced by my dad, and I was alone. And one day he was just put me at home, and he my parents gone to the shopping and left me home alone, and I cried deep from my heart. So it was very terrible time. So then with this I decided to just leave home. This is so sick. I don't like it. I don't want to. I really don't need anybody because I don't had any emotional. I really don't had. I didn't know what is the love. I was just asking my dad, can you please come back home? I'm waiting for you. I really love you. Can you please? And then I like got result of this slapping and all this. So I was terrified and afraid of love. So then I decided to just move, like leave home and go to the military school, military boys hostel. I did that, but my father perfectionism never leave me there as well. And I also remember one thing, like I was asking things to my dad. I need a cloth. I need a toy. I need fees to my tuition school, my coaching. And my dad was saying, I mean, my whole family saying, like, you just brought many clothes 3 years back. There are many clothes. You just recently brought 3 years back. Wow, very recently. So, and should we count your clothes? How many in your almera? Should we? And I was like amazed. This is not fit in my side. This is like too old cloth. And because of that, I didn't. I felt like people hate me. I'm not really. There is something wrong inside of me, and never cared of me. I never loved myself. I was very unhygienic, and my teachers and society people said me, "You don't look like a teacher's son, a government Indian service like you don't look like a good family son." And I was very unhygienic. So it was very terrible time hearing this. I was always unhygienic and odd man out son, and I struggled to like I frequently change career path. I frequently like at least 25 times I left my home because of this constant conflict at my home. But now I just wrap up, man. I don't think my train is started moving out. I don't think it is network will be stable. So but like my dad was like, you like I was staying away from my dad and I using drugs. I don't like you. I will hit you if you will interfere in my life. This was my stage at age 20 or 23. And I will hit you if you come you in my path. And when I needed money, like unfortunately I was codependent to my dad. I was going to him, Dad, I need money to my academics or petrol in my bike. So he was like, you need money, that's why you came to me. You don't like me. So how selfish you are. You need money only. So then I broken, man. I really broken. My heart was broken. I was crashed. My whole body crashed. And then slowly I came into the ACA. I was totally alone. And I think like all the drugs and all the addiction I have taken, it was because I didn't had any love or any attention or any emotional support from my parents as well as from my own. I was hating myself, and then I introduced like chance. I got a chance of ACA meetings, and I'm really grateful for Indian fellows who helped me out from the beginning. It was very confusing from beginning, like how it is like very big book, very big, very too much book. Like the big red book is too much big. I didn't see and 3 4 books. How can I do it? But then I recently I had like my family told me to like because of my addiction, you had to leave home. Don't come back to home. I will not give you money. So just go and never come home. Just leave home and never come back home. You are so addicted person. Just go. And I leave home and fellow like God grace help of these fellows. I got a little bit good. Like I'm doing good at that. Help of these fellows, and I'm having some little money. I'm taking my responsibility of my own. I like swimming. I like things. So like things are going well. Just only from ACA help and support, and like now everything is okay. I love myself. I don't let anybody to hate me or low my self-esteem. I really love myself and I have my boundaries. Anybody, I'm right now for a Diwali vacation. I'm going back to my home, and even though today I will connect it to ACA and never let anybody to like interfere in my boundaries. I really don't. This is my boundaries, and this is a very wonderful man. And the sunset I was wondering in my childhood, like world is so wonderful. I was lose everything. Like I was hating the world. Like I was hating everything. But now it seems like it is returning back. It is returning back. The sunset, the whole like being sense of being someone in this whole world. I really love, man, and I really love everybody, every fellows. Very loving fellowship, and thanks everybody to give me chance to share. I'm not sure my voice is okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, thank you for your share, Pratik. Awesome, man. You did well. You did well. Thank you all you guys. Let me get the crosstalk out of the way, man. I'm just really proud of all of you guys. We're ready to open the floor. You're more than welcome to ask them questions, but again, please no crosstalk if you do. What I'd prefer actually is if you could share your own experiences in childhood and stuff. It's not crosstalk if something that they said kind of stirred a memory that you can share with us. If you could keep it to kind of a couple of minutes, I don't feel like doing timekeeping or anything, but if we could keep it to a couple of minutes, I quite appreciate it. The floor is open. Raise your hands.
Hi, I'm just asking about the oh goodness, the timetable. I don't know what you call it. I don't think you call it a timetable. The program. I can get as far as the first page, and I've been to a couple of things early this morning, but I can't seem to get beyond the first page to see what's supposed to be happening today. So I wondered if somebody could tell me. I've got the first page in front of me now.
If you could, why don't you wait a little bit? Let's share about what we've been talking about in the meeting right now. Thank you so much.
What is the meeting? I don't even know what this meeting is because I can't find it.
I got the adults sharing in the meeting, and they just shared, and I've opened it up if anybody would like to ask a question. Thank you. We can settle it a little bit if you can wait maybe about 15 minutes or so. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Jesse, and I'm an adult child. Is it okay if I share now?
Share.
So I grew up in a family where my father was an alcoholic and a heroin addict, and my mother was, I didn't learn till later, somebody that was dysfunctional herself, but also not available as well. And in turn, I became an alcoholic as a teenager. And for years, I vilified my parents, and I vilified my father. And, I felt like he was like a terrorist in our home. There was a lot of domestic violence and things like that. And what I didn't realize is the more I vilified my father and I vilified my mother for choosing this man to be my father, the more I fueled my own resentments. And then I was out drinking and getting high. And so I have to come to the point where I have to realize I have to have compassion on my father. My father was a child of an alcoholic, and he was raised in a home where his father used domestic violence towards his two brothers, his sister, himself, and his mom. His father was molesting my aunt, and in return, my father, my aunt, and his brother all became heroin addicts. And so I have to have compassion on that man, because that must have just been a tremendously awful thing to grow up in a home like that. My mother, her father was hit by a forklift when she was 12 years old and died in the home. And in turn, she met my father. And then, of course, I came into the picture. And growing up in a home with an alcoholic, heroin addict, a mother that wasn't emotionally available, that was shut down in her emotions, I can remember my father falling asleep at the dinner table and his face hitting the dinner plate and pointing out to my grandmother, "What's wrong with him? He's loaded. What's wrong with him?" And then they would say, I didn't, did you see something? I didn't see something. And what that told me was, we don't tell on family secrets. We don't speak about what's going on in the home. And in the course of that, being in a home with multiple heroin addicts, there was a lot of manipulation. I couldn't keep any money. I couldn't keep any allowance. I couldn't keep anything. My aunt was always covered in bruises. Her husband was abusing and battering her. And so I had a really hard time trusting people in my home, because I felt like I couldn't get close to anybody. I felt like I really wasn't safe. And then one day my grandmother slid a beer across the table, and I drank it, and I liked how it made me feel. And that completed the cycle. So that allowed me to not feel my pain, and it allowed me to disassociate from the things that were happening in my life. And so instead of being with my feelings, I was able to put them off and put them at a distance. Now I have to have compassion on my grandmother, because she did the best that she could with what she had to work with. If I don't have compassion with these people, then I'm not going to be able to maintain sobriety if I keep my resentments going. And then in the course of this, my mother had a best friend, and she had a child about my age. We were good friends. And she left us with a babysitter that, come to find out later, she says, "Hey, I heard that he was molesting people." And I was like, "Oh, great." And so I had to tell my mom the story about how he would expose himself as we were being babysat. And another powerless moment for me, another terrifying moment as a child growing up. And I just realized I'll have to have compassion for this person as well. Because again, if I hate this person, I won't be able to maintain sobriety. And so I thank you for hearing my share. I thank you for allowing me to say these things. And I don't say these things to shock anybody, but I just hope that somebody could hear them and know that it's possible to recover, and it's possible to forgive people, and it's possible to live free from guilt and from shame. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate the share. Anita, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your service, and thank you, everyone that shared to the meeting. I wanted to say how helpful it was to me. My father was not from Europe, and so when I was going to school, there was an element of racism at play. I never met my father. He left my mother before I was born. And so I didn't want to associate myself with any nationality of his, and people would take their guess. But what I realized through the share, and I'm very grateful for that, and that's really how my program works, because I know my story, but sometimes other people's stories shed a light that I hadn't thought of, is that because my father left and my mother, who was from a very Catholic family, was expelled from her family, so she found herself only with me. And I didn't realize how much expectation I had on my shoulder to make up. You know, she never told me to be a doctor or a lawyer,
but I had to feel for that void of her entire family being missing. And that led me to leave the house at an age where usually, I mean, I was still a kid. I was 13, 14 when I decided not to come back home. And so I only realized how young that was while looking at my daughter of that age. So I really want to thank and everyone that's doing service at this convention. I used to chair a workshop last year, so it's great, and I really am so grateful for ACA. I had a long-term in another program, and I kept being attacked by waves of melancholy, I used to call them, and I didn't know it was my trauma in action. So I'm so grateful for the fellowship. I'm so grateful for everyone that has been sharing. Personally, I'm in Belgium, and I could identify with people from the other side of the world, and I find that amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for your surveys.
Oh, thank you, Anita. And Mark, please.
Hello, Mark, adult child, and I just wanted to share because, I've been in ACA for about 2.5 years, and I was kind of like, I've been really stressed out because I'm back in school. I'm in my 30s, but trying to get another degree, and I thought I was doing this for my inner child. Like, I thought I was listening to my inner child, and I was like, I want to do something more fulfilling with my life. And so I did this program, and lately it's sort of like become really, really stressful and really having a hard time managing it, and sort of neglecting my self-care and not going to meetings. And so I ended up pretty depressed, and just recently started going back to meetings and doing things. And I just realized, and I was just thinking about how difficult it has been, like with all my years of therapy and everything, to let go of this feeling that I need to make the most of my life. And because my parents, they're from the Philippines, and they came to the US and as a doctor and a nurse, and I feel like I've had a lot of opportunity, and I can't stop putting all this pressure on myself to make the most of it. And so that's really difficult. And I just know, and I'm like, it's really good to recognize like how ridiculous that is sometimes. Like this last weekend, there was a academic competition at the university. There was like a bunch of prizes, and my classmates were in it, and I just kind of backed out at the last minute because I realized I wasn't in good enough mental health. I was actually having a lot of suicidal thoughts. And then I found out that my classmates won in the competition, and I actually thought made me feel a lot worse. I was like, wow, I'm such a loser. So, but then thinking about like, that's not at all what a loving parent would say, but that's what I'm saying to myself still. And so it's really good to sort of be in a place where everyone's sort of recognizing that and acknowledging how much better we can do for ourselves. So thank you. I really related to everything.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Pushya, please.
Hi, thank you. So this is Pooja. I'm an adult child in recovery. I come from a dysfunctional family. I would first like to thank everyone who spoke. It was really, really, really helpful. I've been 1.5 years into ACA, and to share a little bit about my journey that came up for me. I come from a family where rageaholicism has been the major problem. Everybody seems to have their inner drugstores, especially my dad. So up till the age of 11 years, I was basically raised by my mom and my sister, with my dad being in another country because he had his own dreams to pursue as well, his own ambitions as well. And we would only talk on the phone, and so we have 2 month summer vacation in India, and during that time, all three of us would join him, and we would have a gala time, a lot of happy times, going on vacations and stuff. And after that, when he came home for real, he just returned, it felt like my sense of safety had completely left. My dad and my mom, they shared, a good relationship, but not one with boundaries. There was a hierarchy of sorts in the household. He was the head of the family, and my mom followed followed that order. And after that, the rest of us came. So it was all very, very age related. And I, being the youngest, was supposed to just, join my hands and just bow down to everyone and just accept whatever was told to me and given to me. Never to quarrel or anything. And the thing is, I was always a very talkative child. I was often told how much I talk, how much I just keep on talking. And as a young adult, I would there were similar times when I would not just talk, but laugh uncontrollably. Like if I would start laughing, I would not be able to stop. And it took me a long time, even in recovery, to realize that it was all trauma coming up for me. So in the initial years, it had been, my house had been like a collab kind of a space. But as soon as my dad came, I felt like he was really the enemy of sorts. And I was often scapegoated, not being the topper child. My sister has been the golden child always, and even now she holds a lot of resentment against me that being the youngest, I got everything, and she doesn't know what everything even translates into. Translates into a lot of abuse, a lot of hatred, a lot of scapegoating. But anyway, so she holds a lot of resentment against me. Meanwhile, my mom tries to make up for everything, for the lack of boundaries in our household, by overfeeding and overcaring for me as an adult, both of which are quite useless: the lack of boundaries in childhood and the overdoing as adult. Meanwhile, my dad, he tries to cover up the shit that happened by sort of interior decoration. Like if a wall in the house is really, collapsing, on the verge of collapsing, you try to patch it up with painting it and, just beautifying it. And it all feels obviously completely fake. And I realized that there's a lot of hollowness in all the relationships. There's a lot of emotional absence as far as my childhood is concerned. So there was a lot of emotional neglect, basically. And then there was the part where I felt like I was a nuisance for the family and I did not belong here. And I was not a part of this family, and I was scapegoated to the point and shouted at and abused to the point that I felt I'm a waste over here and probably in the world. Because as it is, I do not see myself in a role of value, that I didn't have value because I was not the topper anyway. So what difference could I possibly make in the world? And nothing else counted. Nothing else was even talked about. Nothing about kindness or any of the humane stuff. No, those are all just stuff you would write for English or Hindi essays in school. So that's where I've been. And in ACA, it has been a lovely journey of understanding that I'm not somebody who is scared of public speaking. I'm somebody who's tried very hard to keep up a front that I didn't need to in the first place. And that it was all false anyway. And it is okay for me to be myself when I speak and when I live. And so I'm just trying to embrace that one day at a time, one part at a time, one emotion at a time. Yeah, thank you. I pass.
Thank you, Pusha. And Catherine, I think maybe the last share. Sorry, Odette. Catherine, go ahead.
Hi, I'll try to be really quick. With my parents, the environment was insane. It was insanity, and I had to. But the trouble is, they thought it was all normal, and their denial was unbelievable. But my father didn't drink much, neither did my mother. But their uncles, my father's uncles, drank the family out of their fortune. So they grew up really poor. The thing was that he wasn't wanted when he was a child, and that really contributed to his insanity. And unfortunately, I couldn't do anything about that. I was stuck at home. I was ready to leave home when I was 7, and like school was really awful because it was just really sadistic nuns, and they were very sadistic. I used to get belted when I went to school, and then belted when I went home, and so there was no way out except for in my imagination. I used to do daggy things like collect stamps and read. I read a lot, and so I was able to create my own world outside of what I was in. It was horrendous. He was abusive in every way, mentally, physically, and sexually. He was terribly abusive, but he was insane, I think. But he was an engineer. He went to work every day and a lot of money. So there was very definitely two sides to him. But I found life very difficult, and it wasn't until I got to AA, the first off at 25, that anything started to happen, and then I've been sober for quite a long time, 42 years, but then I got to ACA about 5 years ago, and that's been really fantastic. It's really given me so much depth to my own emotions, I can sort of say, I can think that that's not what God wants, or I can pray, but the ACA gives me a real depth into my own emotions as a child and the adolescent and the parent, because I've got a hell of a long way to go because it was so brutal, and I don't really know of any time in my childhood that it was safe, or in my adolescence even, that it was safe. And so I had to find my own way of feeling safe, and that was to sort up my own defects, my own feelings, and my own fears, and try to turn them around, which has been possible because of these groups, especially ACA. And I'd been something like 39 years sober when I got to ACA, and I thought, I wish I'd come here a long time ago. I'm very grateful to everyone here, and there's still a way to go. I mean, I'm 67 and I'm still doing it, so I'm still living and still improving. There's still much more to do, and so that's great, especially in today. That's the main thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine, so much. I feel the same way. I should have started earlier. Natalie, sorry we can't get to you. Let me go ahead and switch control back over to Sun. Just real quick, though. Yay to my group, man. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. Please give them your thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Our Shangri-La is on break, so I'll have to close the meeting for her. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here and for all your deep shares. Tanish, are you able to do screen share for the slides?
I don't have the slides with me, Sun.
Okay. Let me see if I can bring up the slides. Are you able to see the slides? Okay. I think doing service is a great way, in ACA is a great way to strengthen your program. You can help to carry the message and make a difference in another ACA member's life by giving service. And the ACA World Convention is made possible through the dedication and energy of your fellow ACA members, giving service from a place of love. And if you feel called to volunteer for service, please click the link found in the chat box. I'm going to put the slides, the link, the chat. Okay, and so you can follow the prompts to complete the form, and which will help direct you to the committee that best matches your area of interest. And our 7th tradition states that every ACA group ought to be fully self-supporting and declining outside contributions. And if you have not done it yet, we ask to consider making a 7th tradition contribution by clicking the link in the chat box. Yep, so I think for sure that WSO will require funds to do continue to do the good work that they're supposed to do. And you can now donate in your currency, your local currency, and in a variety of ways such as a credit card, PayPal, Venmo, Google, and Apple Pay. And thank you everyone for your contribution. Can someone help me to read the promises?
I can do that, son.
Thank you.
From the promises, 1, we will discover our real identities by loving and accepting ourselves. 2, our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. 3, fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. 4, our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. 5, as we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. 6, we will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. 7, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. 8, we will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. 9, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. 10, fears of failure and success will leave us as we intuitively make healthier choices. 11, with help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. 12, gradually, with our higher powers' help, we learn to expect the best and get it. Thank you.
Thank you, Danish, for reading. And so that's all the time we had for our presentation. Thank you so much to our presenters. I'll list them one by one. So it's Angelica, Brian, Win, Lily, and I think Pratik. Yeah. I think there's one more, but I think I don't quite remember. Yeah, I think he's no longer in the co-host list. Yep, Angelica.
And Jason was also here.
Yep, and Jason too. Yes, that's the name that I missed out. Okay, thank you to our tech hosts, Danish and all those giving service to bring this year's ACA World Convention to us all. And many thanks to you all for listening and holding space. And listening is often the greatest support we can offer and receive. And our next presentation, I believe, just give me a moment. I will bring up.
We will be presenting on poverty as a family type for creating ACAs, and we will also present on the importance of tradition and what it means to India. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sharila. And so now we invite everyone to unmute, and so we can close with the ACA Serenity Prayer in the language or way that's meaningful to you. Let's take a deep breath. And to the God